This is how survey results will lie to you. A restaurant in Barcelona, 4.5 stars. From a distance, it looks like proof. It looks perfect. So you sit down and expect quality. In the first 5 minutes, cracks start to appear. The menu is overpriced, the service is rushed. The food, average at best. You walked into a tourist trap. Nothing is really outstanding. How can the rating be so high? This is a story how people get fooled by numbers, and once you see it, you will start seeing it anywhere. So here's the mistake people make. They see a high number on Google reviews, like 4.5 or better, and they assume this means high quality, good products, good setting, and good service. In this case, it kind of doesn't. Or it depends. We have a few factors we have to consider when we are looking at numbers in this stage. If you look at Google reviews, then you will see that a standardized test gives you varying results regarding the context. Tourists normally does not rate the food and the restaurant in isolation. They're rating the food plus the trip, the mood, the city. The fact that you're on vacation, touristy areas, you will have many distortions around trip that people have. In research terms, you would say this is so-called confounding effect, a measurement error regarding the context of the measurement. You think that you measured quality, but in actuality, you measure the trip, the weather, the mood, the city itself, maybe only the view. But that's not all. If we dig deeper, it gets even worse. The tourists themselves are also one big part of the problem. Most tourists, when they visit a city or a restaurant, they will eat or be there just once in their lifetime. They do not know the local standard. They do not know the price, whether the place next door is better. Tourists leaving a review, a very specific group, judging under very specific conditions. A local would never eat tourist trap and would not rate it like 4.5 stars. In research terms, we would call this a selection bias. In the Google review in touristy areas, we have a very strong sample bias because tourists have a different rating system in their mind than the normal local people. But still, why would tourists rate a subpar experience so high? So to answer this question, we have to dig deeper into the psychology. There's a term in the field of psychology called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance occurs when the experience and the rating does not fit together. For example, people who are smoking know that it's not beneficial for their health. So they will argue that smoking helps against the stress. It's a psychological mechanism to protect your own decisions, to distort your own experience. It was a good decision, even though the experience may not the narrative. So smoking is bad, but it helps against my stress, so it's okay. This cognitive dissonance also occur in tourists. If they know that they paid too much, they waited too long, service was not very friendly. If it's not below a certain threshold, they will say maybe it was not the best restaurant, the view was 5 stars. So this is also some psychological layer inside of the rating. We've talked about the psychology, the context, and the sampler. If you're someone who is creating a survey or has created a survey and wants to analyze it, I've put an Excel tool together for you, which will help you to pick the right method. Ask yourself what hypothesis you have, and then you can choose the method on analyzing the data you may need. It helps you to find the right method for you. But there's one context layer we haven't talked about yet. It's the incentives. Restaurants in touristy areas highly benefit from distorted ratings, and they often optimize for good view. The goal of a restaurant in a highly touristy area is not long-term loyalty. They optimize for being the right restaurant at the right place at the right moment. The goal is to be the first decision. Get the click, get the tourists inside, get the tables full. Once this Google review becomes the only thing you optimize for, you're not optimizing for deep quality anymore. Make the restaurant look nice. Have it at a good location. Have a safe-looking menu where even tasteless people or children may find anything to eat. Have just enough quality to avoid an outrage. Other restaurants might optimize for these quality points as well. But to be a restaurant for people to go there more than once, you have a great menu, you have great staff, good prices, so you optimize in a different way. So this leads to a bigger principle. Goodhart's law. When a measurement becomes the target, it stops being a good measure. So the Google rating should reflect quality. But once businesses start optimizing for it, so the rating starts to drift away from the construct quality. On the surface, the measurement still looks useful. If you look into the review itself, you see it was just good enough. Now, let's bring this back into a research context. If you run a survey of any kind, anxiety, quality, satisfaction, then you have to be very careful on how you interpret the data. The mistakes students normally make here is that they treat a high rating as if the measurement was perfect. The participants were very satisfied. The concept was well received. The response was clearly positive. The main question you have to ask yourself is what hidden features are inside the measurement itself. Let's wrap this up real quick. What can we learn from the 4.5-star restaurant rating? There are many contexts, information you have to consider when interpreting data. Taking a high or low average, even if it's expected or not expected, as its face value is in the most cases not enough. You have to consider the context, you have to consider the psychology, the sample, incentives. And in research, that difference is everything.